Well, good morning. Good morning. Robin Norgren here from Your Gifted Learner. And just wanted to come to you with some thoughts on standardized tests, right? Standardized tests from a Montessori teacher perspective, all right? So, as I've told you in the past, I have worked in many different types of classrooms. I was an art teacher for K through sixth grade. I have taught online. I am currently in a charter school in a kindergarten classroom. And so I've had many different experiences where I've taken my Montessori training and my Montessori eye into more traditional workplaces and really tried to observe, which is one of the big components that I love about Montessori philosophy, is that you observe and then you let the observation give you information as opposed to just coming up with some idea of what you think it is. Okay. So that's the context of what I'm about to say. So, if you've not ever worked in a charter school before, it the one system that I'm in, you are literally testing kids all the time, like literally all the time. And if you're not testing them, you are helping them practice to navigate a new test that's going to be implemented soon. So I teach in kindergarten, and you take a certain common core standard. I live in Arizona, and you test for that standard, and it's basically the standard the child can tell you the character, the setting, the plot of a story, right? And so you structure the test based on that particular common core standard, right? And so um, we have been testing on that. We have tested them on this probably 3 times, like with a format of about 4 to 6 questions, 3 times in like the last month. Okay, so the first time, we all got together as a team, and we have to sit with the either the principal or the assistant principal every week, and the others were, oh, it's tricky navigation, and and it has, it reads it to the kindergartner, obviously, because they don't know how to read, and so it's because they don't know how to navigate it, because it's not doesn't have really a cartoon format like a lot of the programs that they're used to seeing, and so just they're not doing well, so they all take the test, and you see that color wheel graph that shows how all of your kids are failing miserably, which is always so fun to see as a teacher, right, when you're putting in 50, 60 hours a week. And so, all right, this is fine. We continue on. We're going to give them another test. Perhaps they just need to practice seeing it in this format. Take another test. Um, they bomb it again, right? And it's just, you know, and then, a couple of them get a bit more, the teachers get a bit more adamant with the assistant principal. When we ask them the questions directly about a story, they will tell you the plot, they will tell you this. Well, that's fine, but for some reason, they're not testing it. They're not showing it on a test, right? And we all know that if you cannot show it on a test, it is not happening, right? Which is one of the many reasons why Montessori teachers do not like testing. I happen to think, you know what? I don't mind a test because I'm in the camp of I've seen a lot of shenanigans going on with Montessori teachers. Montessori in general has such a bad rap because of the shenanigans that go on with Montessori teachers. So for me, I've never shied away from having a test. So for me, I'm like, yes, let's see what they know, right? And I would say even, wow, why are my kids not testing better? They should be. They seem to be very bright children, and they are. Please don't get me wrong. They are bright children, okay? And so, one of them says, well, I have them listen to the question and then listen to the story and then listen to the question. And I said, okay, that is actually a great idea. Maybe that's what it is. Because again, because they don't read it, that they can't read it, they have to watch very carefully, like how, the words highlight. And you're like, okay, I've got to remember that I have to put my cursor on A when I hear all the answers because it's A, right? But again, they really have to have this real sense of connectedness to it's A, put it up to A, remember it's A, right? And it's kindergarten, right? And so, anyway, I came up with this idea. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in my small group because we have what we call intervention groups where you can, work small group while others are doing something else. So I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set it up 6 students at a time. I'm going to have them, I'm going to watch them. They're going to listen to the question. They're going to listen to the story. They're going to listen to the question, right? Okay, perfect. I mean, literally feeling the most encouraged, like, oh my gosh, they're very bright children. Of course, this is going to really show what they know. Sure enough, after everybody takes the test, I click on the color wheel, and what do you know? None of them showing as proficient, right? So I'm like, okay, so here we are. We're going into the meeting. Like, literally, it was that day. And usually my team lead is pretty much on top of it. She likes to see what the numbers are because, her team, her class is, I always joke that she has a magical class, but because everything that the children do in that class is like above proficiency and all of this. So, and it's this weird thing that you get to see that other children aren't doing that in their classroom. So that's always so fun to go in there every week and find this out, right? Anyhow, so we go in there and I say, well, I had them all take the test. Oh, I said, yep. And they go, how? I said, I'll let you guys go ahead and see, right? I kid you not. They thought it was going to be like everybody was excellent. I was like, no, this is going to really drive the point home of what I'm about to say. And so they all look at it and they're like, oh. I said, okay, so let me tell you the criteria. And I tell them exactly how I did it. I said, so this is my observation. This is the conclusion. They don't know it. They don't know it. I said, so help me, because again, in most charter school situations, you are given the curriculum and you cannot sway from that curriculum, okay? So I said, well, what are we going to do? Because I'm teaching the curriculum, and at least at the kindergarten level, whatever we're doing with this curriculum is not hitting the standard in the way that can be shown on a test. Like, I don't know what to tell you. This is what's happening. Like, so, so I said, so, do you have some ideas? Should we, is there some sort of supplement that we can bring in here to help, get them on this? Or could we perhaps just move move to another standard that we could test them on so we can like maybe because that's the thing, it's like we've tested them this many times, at some point they've got to go, oh my gosh, either I don't know it or this is getting boring. And the thing is, and then they're going to start just throwing the test, like, because they are getting tested all the time, right? And so I said, so could we maybe move to another standard, maybe come back to this standard, because we've been testing this standard for a month. And I get no response. And I'm like, what are we doing here, people? If you're not going to give me tools to solve this problem, and I can't go outside of the realm of the curriculum, we're just going to keep testing to get the same result. Like, I do not understand. So, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like, why will we continue, or give me a different perspective. I'm open to it. I will say, like, again, in those intervention times, what I've been doing is I've been pulling, different students, and I have been working on the standard pretty much like in, I'm going to read the story, you tell me, what you think the plot setting, what do you think is going to happen next. I've done those very generalized things, but the fact of the matter is, either the way the questions are being asked, right? It's almost like, well, what it's just not at the same standard that we would normally say kindergarten would be at, would be my perspective on it, right? Because I think if you ask most children, who's the characters in the story, after you've talked with them, they'll be able to tell you that. They'll be able to tell you where the setting is, what maybe even what's going to happen next. But it really is, like I said, one of those things where it becomes futile when we continue to do it, and yet not make a shift or a pivot so we can figure out how to do this better. And so